everybody. Mr. Beagle is here, and this is Up From the Underground presents Feetball Goulash. To my left is the Captain Gracious himself, Captain Shenanigans.
What ain't you?
And to his left, ball gagged and tied into a chair with duct tape so he can't speak, is the Lawn Gnome. Don't try and speak, because it's just going to come out as... I'll take it out if you're good, and then I'll give you a ball.
Get that good.
Another ball gag. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our playoff special show, where we're going to talk about the playoffs, but before the Super Bowl, because it is only 8 days away. Are you excited?
Yes, I am. Very much so.
With a mouthful of crackers.
Oh yeah, I love crackers.
Mr. Gnome, hang on a second. Mr. Gnome, how do you feel about the playoffs as they stand right now?
Besides being all KO'd out, I'm just dandy.
Boo! I see what you did there.
I'd rather not go into that.
I didn't want to either. I just wanted to make the joke because it's funny.
After all is said and done, we have the Baltimore Ravens versus the San Francisco 49ers. Baltimore Ravens are 13-7, a franchise record in the playoffs. 49ers 5-0 in Super Bowl appearances. They've been to 5 Super Bowls and won all 5 of them. And
4 with Montana, 1 with Steve Young.
Yep. And Ray Lewis's first career sack was in 1996 against the Indianapolis Colts on quarterback Jim Harbaugh.
That's right.
Wow.
Quarterback Jim Harbaugh.
In 1996, it was
How
Ray
wacky
Lewis's
is that?
first career sack.
Well, that was his rookie year.
Gentlemen,
That's 96. Damn.
these playoffs have been pretty crazy. Your thoughts?
You know what the thing is? They're not as crazy as people would like to think. Only because we should have seen this coming. I mean, really.
I would not have seen
collapse,
Baltimore side.
The Falcons collapsing. I mean, even the Patriots. Even the Patriots have now a record of losing in the playoffs consistently.
You know, I did some research. Tom Brady, okay? Tom Brady has been in the league since 2001. Well, he's been a starter since 2001, except for the 2008 season where he was out the entire year because of the knee injury.
Courtesy of Bernard Pollard.
Yes.
Love him.
Yeah.
I looked how many game-winning drives he has had in those 12-plus years.
Okay.
Less than 30.
You know what the thing is? I never believed he was clutch. It's the rest of the team that picked up the slack. It was a team effort. You can't deny that. But the matter of fact is that the stats speak for themselves. And you, sir, are the master of stats in our little circle.
Yes, because if you know, look at the 2 Super Bowls.
By both teams, believe it or not. You know,
I could
the
have
score
aired
was
this in there.
the score was not indicative of the game. Let's put it
And
that way.
the Seahawks-Redskins, which ended up in a heartbreaker for
Sweet
Washington. I
Ah!
thought that...
Saw that coming.
They deserve it.
They
Really?
do.
The Washington deserves it.
Yeah.
Mike Shanahan deserves it for
Actually,
putting the needs of himself, winning a playoff game.
Yeah,
They
above
just
the...
both tried to dunk and they
Yeah,
both
did you
missed.
see that?
Yes.
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
For putting the needs of himself above the needs of the team.
What
And
a
the needs of the
son of a
fans
bastard.
above the needs of the team. Because all
Yeah.
the fans wanted to see RG3 out there.
Yeah.
But it was because of his knee injury that they turned the ball over deep in their own zone, and then Seattle scored.
Yeah.
So then we moved on to the division series, and then we started out with, unfortunately, Peyton's downfall. I was heartbroken. What can I say?
Hey, we had a playoff with the Manning.
That is true. Although I would have loved the Manning versus Manning Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Well, you
consecutive
almost
years.
did.
Yeah.
You know, you could have had Manning versus, Charlie Manning.
Or Daniel Manning.
Or Daniel Manning.
Daniel, yeah.
Well,
No
whatever.
relation.
Anyway,
Actually, no,
I was a
that's
little,
not
I was a
possible.
little
They're both
upset
Manning.
over the fact that Peyton did not get to the next round. But you know something?
You know
Based
the
on
thing,
what
it
we're
was not
seeing
Peyton.
right now with the Ravens, like you can't deny their
They
triumph.
want it. They
Yeah,
want it
they do.
bad.
Well, Denver needs a new secondary. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
How could they let Jacoby Jones just get loose like that?
As many people that say that Peyton Manning let the Denver Broncos down in overtime,
I don't think
it
so.
didn't even start with that. It should not have gone into overtime. Their secondary let the Ravens score.
Here's a question.
That was the loser.
Here's a question. Peyton Manning is your quarterback. You have 34 seconds left in regulation. You're on your own 20.
That was the most.
Why would you take a knee?
That was the
Yeah,
most
they're questioning
effing
John Fox
stupid
about that.
Effing thing I have ever effing seen in my entire effing life. okay?
And yes, you can say that on the air.
Yes, I can.
Keep going.
Because I bleeped myself. Twice. Last night and once this morning. Zing.
That's your credit.
That's a credit.
Okay. No, I think I'm gonna keep that in. It just works. Seahawks, Falcons.
No, that was sad.
That was pretty bad.
That was sad on so many different levels.
I mean, I love to see
That
the
was
Falcons get their
hilarious.
first playoff win since 1999.
Since 1999.
I love to see Tony Gonzalez get his first ever playoff win in 16 years. But
I liked seeing the
it
Seahawks
wasn't
being
pretty.
handed what they have been deserving all season.
You want to talk about what wasn't pretty? That Texans-Patriots game.
No, that was pretty.
Really?
Yes.
Pretty ugly.
Texans deserved it. Did you see how many mistakes
course.
they made in that
That was
game?
terrible.
That was the
It
Patriots
wasn't-
game to run away
It
with.
wasn't the Patriots winning, it was the Texans losing.
It really upset me because I
They
had them
gave
winning the
that
Super
game
Bowl.
away. But was it surprising? Hell no.
Packers 49ers?
Good game.
Good game. Yes.
Good game for what it was worth. The 49ers ran away with it in the last quarter, but
I think Kaepernick ran away with it.
He
Literally.
ran. Yeah, that
yeah.
man runs. That man runs.
He-
Didn't he set a record for most rushing yards in a playoff game by a quarterback?
something like that. Yeah.
And dude, I have to
He
tell you,
won.
he's got a soul patch
He-
that beats yours.
Please.
But he has tattoos.
He
Hey,
does
they're better
have
than-
tattoos.
hey,
They're
we'll
better
talk-
than women's footwear.
Yeah.
More
That
on
was
that
an
later.
That was an exciting game. I was happy to see Rodgers get his comeuppance because I don't think they deserve to be there. Quite honestly, they didn't have such a good.
Their defense was bad,
We just know, you know what?
and it was even an
it wasn't
upgrade from
bad.
last season.
It wasn't bad.
It was
they
bad.
just didn't know how to guard the read option, and that's why
They
Kaepernick
didn't-
ran all over them.
Yeah,
But
he made him look like
any
boobs.
defense that's anchored by Clay Matthews and Charles Woodson, just in and of itself, isn't bad.
Kaepernick went out there saying, "Let's fight some boobs."
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And then we moved on to the championship games. The first one was the San Francisco 49ers against the Atlanta Falcons.
No contest.
Once again, the 49ers are back where
Yeah.
they were last year,
Yep.
and this time, I'm not surprised.
The last year, it was mistakes in the fourth quarter
By
that
special
messed
teams.
them up.
Yep.
By special teams.
Yep.
They didn't make those same mistakes, and
Nope.
look where they are now.
And it was
Super
a
Bowl.
much cleaner game. They were much
Oh,
more controlled,
yeah.
not nearly as aggressive.
I mean,
Yeah.
even though the Falcons practically were up on them by so much in the beginning, I just had a
No.
feeling that they were not
You know what,
going
the
to buckle.
Falcons,
They
the
were going to keep
Falcons
going.
have a habit of starting games roaring out of the gate, but they just can't finish them, especially in clutch situations
Name
like this.
one game where they ran away with the score. Name one. the
You
Falcons
can
had.
this entire season.
Exactly, and it was gonna come back to haunt them. And it
Oh
did.
yeah.
And who was the
They
one?
can't
Who was the
finish
guy in the
games.
49ers that started doing the dirty bird and said no?
Frank Gore.
I
Frank
think it was
Gore,
Frank
yeah,
Gore,
that
I
was
thought so.
funny.
That was really
That was
funny.
funny, I
And
enjoyed
then I will take a page out of Captain Shenanigans' book. Then we had a little Ravens versus Patriots 2, Electric Boogaloo.
The Patriots just couldn't get past the Ravens defense.
Brady cried.
The
He
defense.
did cry.
Yeah, he did cry. He
Now
was,
here's the question:
I wouldn't say he was sobbing, but he was definitely spilling tears.
How soon until his wife blames somebody?
Oh,
I'm
his wife
surprised-
already blamed somebody.
Really?
Please.
Did I miss
Oh
it?
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Immediately.
As soon as the championship games were over, I was watching college basketball.
Before we give our predictions and our wants and needs for the big game that has now officially been trademarked the Harbowl.
Actually, no.
No,
There was
no,
a guy
Super Bowl.
back in February who
Depending on your philosophical
who
outlook on that.
trademarked the term Harbowl and Harbaugh Bowl. The NFL bought him out.
That's
The guy
sad.
did this
That's sad,
in
hilarious.
February of last
Yeah.
year in its anticipation
preparation
that
for-
this was
yeah.
going to happen after both the brothers lost in the championship games last year.
Well, anyway, before you
That
cut me
is
off,
sad,
before you cut
hilarious.
me off, where was I going with this? We actually have a very special lessons learned,
Yes.
complete to my surprise. So,
Yeah,
hey.
playoff special.
so
yeah.
as I always say,
Super happy fun time.
so as I always
Lessons
say,
learned.
fasten your seatbelts because the captain's turned on the sign and the no smoking sign because it is time for lessons learned.
Word.
Captain Shenanigans.
Super
Go.
happy fun. You're on a boat. You shake, you shake, you shake.
All right.
Yeah.
Ron Rivera, not fired.
That was so dumb of them.
Pretty much everybody else on that team.
Yeah,
was.
everybody else got canned except for Ron.
Oh,
Rivera.
it goes back to one of your words of wisdom earlier this season. Ron Rivera suddenly realizes, wait, fired, not me? Okay.
Not me, sure.
See, here's the thing.
You
I
serious?
checked out the roster for the Panthers earlier today, and believe it or not, more than half of the team can be cut and not hurt their salary cap.
Oh, yeah.
This is a case of keep the coach, fire the team.
Yeah.
Pretty much there's only
the way it should be done.
pretty much there's only two players that I think that they should keep, and that's Cam Newton
Yep.
Cam Newton.
and Greg Olson.
Really, not Smith.
Not
No.
that fat sack Mike Tolbert. Have you seen... The guy's a tubby son of a bitch.
Yes, he is.
Wait, can I say that?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
He's a tubby son of a bitch.
Yes. All right, Chicago Bears fire Lovie Smith.
Bad idea.
That was dumb.
I agree. I mean, they already fired their OC last year, and he just didn't make a difference.
It didn't.
But it's just, I mean, the season that they had just was a crazy downward spiral just because of the fact that they just
Leave
kept...
Trump on the Rangers. Sorry.
Because they kept just losing all their players. That's why. And you're absolutely right. Like you said earlier, the conditioning coach was the one that should be thrown out.
They're made to be a good championship caliber team. They have the potential. They just don't have the staff. Oh shit. They don't have the damn it, buddy. The Bears are built to be a championship caliber team. They just don't have the stamina to do it because they keep getting injured halfway through the season.
Don't let me put that ball guy back in.
Okay.
Especially
Okay.
not in your mouth.
Continue, please.
Have the Bears hired anybody yet?
No, they haven't
No,
talked about
there's
it.
been no reports of the Bears hiring.
I don't think I'm putting it on.
I guess they're shopping around.
Now here's the thing I do not agree with.
Cleveland.
Cleveland Browns fire Pat Shermer and general manager Tom Heckert.
I thought that was a bad idea.
I do not
That
agree
was a
with
bad
either.
Especially
that
with
was a
how
bad
they started
idea.
to look like a very good team at the end of the season. They're
got,
young.
They got their act together.
They're young.
very
They have to
slowly.
give them time to stew.
They haven't hired anybody either yet. have
No,
they?
no.
I know that.
not yet.
I know that the top of their list is Ray Horton, the defensive coordinator from the Cardinals, who's actually
Yeah.
good. I like him a lot.
No,
Cardinals
he
defense this year was very good.
He did good things with a bad squad.
Just imagine that Cleveland Browns defense with a coordinator who has molded Patrick Peterson.
True.
Yeah, wow. Check that out.
Yeah. Detroit Lions Jim Schwartz
Still there.
Still
is
there.
still there.
Still there.
Bad idea.
I don't think it's a bad... He showed this season what he's really capable of, and what he's capable of is being shifty-eyed and a bad clock management.
I think that the true test for the Lions next year is going to be, first, if they can actually hold on to Calvin Johnson. If they do manage to pay the guy,
They will.
and
Pay the man.
Stafford still got his tools, if they cannot muster a good season and you see a lot of the faults coming from Schwartz, then it's bye-bye Schwartzy. He's got to
As
go.
I've said before, they are the best worst team.
They were a pretty bad team this
They
year.
were
Not even
they were
the
bad.
best.
Yeah.
Best on the
The
pick.
best worst team this year was
Best worst.
St. Louis, I think.
I could get
You know
I could
what?
say
Yeah,
that.
they could give. Yeah.
But I really
They
wouldn't
look- but
consider
they
them a
look
bad team.
bad
They were
on
like a
paper.
mediocre. I just thought they were
That's
somewhere
the
in
thing.
the
That's why
They-
they're the
yeah.
worst team.
But the Lions look good on paper. But they
probably
just suck.
they're probably the worst best team.
The worst best team. No, the worst best team was the Falcons.
Yep.
Or the Texans.
No, I think the Falcons.
Falcons,
Yeah.
they blew it more than the Texans.
Jacksonville Jaguars general manager Gene Smith was fired. Mike Mularkey was fired.
Malarkey.
I don't really know what to make of
Again,
it.
that's an
Mularkey
organization.
was not there long enough to have
No.
a good impact.
You know what it
No.
is? It's a very similar situation to Buffalo. You don't have good stuff. You can't. You gotta figure
I
out how to
disagree.
fix it.
No.
I disagree. I think the nucleus of that team has a good chance to become good.
Well,
For
Drew
which
was
one?
injured. We can't blame them
Jaguars.
for that.
Oh, Jaguars. They're a young team, and they don't have their act together.
Jones Drew was
The
injured.
turnover-
That was a
yeah.
problem.
Never mind that. The fact that their turnover rate for coaches and conditioning, everything, the upper tier, not the players, is so high that they don't have a chance to establish a repertoire between the players and the coaching staff. Therein, I think, lies the problem. If they kept a little bit of consistency, they might be able to do something.
I don't know about that. But anyway,
Eh.
now Romeo Crennel has been fired from Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
General
Not a
manager
surprise.
Scott Pioli was fired only
Again, not a
because Andy Reid was hired. Andy Reid and Scott Pioli do not
Yeah.
see eye to eye.
Nope.
Let me put it this way. I was probably I was surprised that Andy Reid was the first big firing that actually got the quickest hire.
Well, we'll get to that in a minute.
That is kind of surprising.
Is he gonna?
I didn't admit that.
He's. Don't get me wrong.
He needs to take a year or two off.
But the
from
most
coaching.
important thing here is now he's going to be coaching a team of not so inflated egos like Philadelphia. with not such troubled cases. Unfortunately, they had a whole bunch of troublesome events in their season,
yeah.
but that's nobody's fault.
That
I
was
think that
circumstance.
Andy Reid is really going to turn this team around and really get their
Yeah, give them
Get
2
him
more
going.
wins, so they're 4 and whatever.
I think it's a good. I think that the fact that they see value in him is a good thing.
I just don't see the value in Andy Reid anymore. That walrus is washed up.
You know, I do, and I'll tell you why. Because there are no egos on the Chiefs.
Exactly.
Again, that's what. Yeah,
Quite
that's
honestly,
what Mr. Nolan
there are
was
good
saying.
players. Peyton Hillis is there. Jamal Charles is there. They
Dexter
have a
McCluster.
good young receiving core with the led by the
Dwayne
veteran Dwayne Bowe, who I think has 2 of the top 6.
He's gotten
Has 2
better.
of the top 6 hands
Yeah.
because there's 2 of them for 2
There's
players.
2 of
They
them.
He's
just
in
gotta
the top
start.
3 in the league as far as soft hands.
They just
Oh,
gotta
yeah,
stay
yeah.
healthy. That's their big
That-
concern.
they gotta-
And they
gotta
got to
be
improve the
healthy.
defense a little bit.
Exactly.
A lot.
All right, who's next?
Who is next?
Miami Dolphins general manager Jeff Ireland will return for the next season. What do you think about that?
I don't know where the well, besides their stupid
They're
logo.
stupid. Yeah, that's
That's the only improvement
the
the
new,
team's
yeah,
gonna get.
the new logo is gonna be stupid.
I don't know what's going on with that. I don't really know what to make of that team.
They're-
I really thought that they were going to be a powerhouse threat
I didn't.
this season.
I think you were the only person besides people in Miami who thought that.
True. But Tannehill didn't have a bad season.
I wouldn't say.
I've seen
Yeah.
rookies-
He
I've seen
didn't have
rookies-
a great season.
I've
Didn't
seen
have a
rookies
great
with better
season.
seasons.
But yeah,
But-
the bar has been raised for rookie quarterbacks recently. So
The thing is that Miami's weakness is special teams. They've got a good
Boy,
young
they
offense.
special.
They've got a decent defense, but the special teams are just atrocious.
that's why they're wearing helmets now. The kids.
All right, now our all-time favorites,
Oh boy, here we go.
and it's the biggest blurb I have in front of me actually.
Orb.
The New York Jets. Mike Tannenbaum is fired.
Thank you.
Tony Sperano is fired.
Good God.
Pretty much all the entire
Yeah, the
front
entire-
office except for
yeah.
Woody Johnson and Rex Ryan is gone,
Well, Woody Johnson.
and Mike Westhoff retired.
yeah.
They can't let Revis go.
Well, it's not
They
quite
cannot
letting
do
him
it.
go.
It's not that they're gonna let him go.
They're either gonna trade him or they're gonna extend his contract with the same money that Mario Williams got from Buffalo.
Don't do it.
Look how good that turned out.
You do not trade your best player. You do not let him go. End of
More
story.
on that later.
He's the reason why we go to Jets games.
More on.
I go to Jets games for the flight crew. I don't know about you.
I go for the butt fumbles.
We did actually.
Yeah, we actually did. We
Well,
witnessed
I
the
think
butt
that-
fumble.
What team had the foot
Live.
fumble in the playoffs?
I don't know.
What team had a foot fumble
Wales?
where they kicked it away?
No, that sounds like something the Jets did.
I forgot. If it
Yeah,
was
they
Cin- I
did
think
that
they
same
were in the
game
playoffs.
also.
I think it was Cincinnati. I think.
Cincinnati.
Anyway, I think getting Idzik was a good idea. We'll see exactly what he can do,
Oakland Raiders, pretty much the whole team is fired.
including
Oh,
that,
man.
including that chubby Carson Palmer,
You know what?
but not the slab.
Jacksonville,
they're
you know,
keeping the slab.
the Raiders may have won more games than the Jaguars. I
That
still
doesn't-
think the Raiders were the worst team in the NFL.
The
this year.
Raiders are a laughing
A
stock,
disappointment,
which
disappointment.
is worse.
They're all fat.
They made the Jets look decent.
They're all fat. They're all sad. I mean, it's not even funny watching them anymore. It used to be funny watching them.
Well-
because that's when they were supposed to be good and they fell flat.
The Eagles.
That's another team that is sadlarious.
Not only could they not take Frodo and Sam to Mount Doom in 25 minutes, but they couldn't put together a winning season either.
They are the saddest of the sad sacks.
A whole bunch of inflated egos that
Yeah.
that don't know what to do with each
And
other.
completely overpaid.
Yeah, well,
Completely overpaid.
I would say all except for LaShawn McCoy. Now here's the question: who's the starting quarterback next season? Vic or Foles?
We don't know.
The Chargers, Norv Turner.
Not surprised.
For the past 4
And-
seasons, his job has been in jeopardy.
He's been on the
The
hot
fact that it took
yeah.
4 seasons to finally say get out of here surprised me the most.
You know
That
what's
was
funny?
so
The Chargers and the Bears had almost identical seasons where they started out hot,
They started out well,
and then they
just fell apart.
just didn't do anything.
Yeah. They fell apart.
The Chargers ended up in second or third in the West.
The Chargers were second.
We're second.
And finally,
No.
Tennessee
hey,
Titans Mike Munchak will be back in the
Yeah.
2013 season.
Not
However,
fired.
Senior Executive VP Mike Reinfeld was fired.
Whatever.
So the Titans coach is coming back, and I think that's a good idea because I have.
They need consistency.
You know what? I see this team making a splash next season. The AFC South is going to be it's going to turn into the next NFC West. It's going to be 3 really good teams and 1 not so good team.
You actually left something out. You forgot the fact that the Dallas Cowboys let Rob Ryan
Yeah, they
go,
let
only to
Rob
be
Ryan
picked
go.
up by one team that could end up being a big surprise next year.
Wait.
The St. Louis Rams.
Yeah.
St. Louis
So
Rams
now
picked
they've
up
got
Ryan.
Wow. they've got Jeff Fisher at coach. They've got
Rob Ryan.
Rob Ryan at defensive coordinator, and they've got
Ryan Schottenheimer.
there you go.
Now here's
Well,
an
they-
interesting question.
for
Spagnuolo got traded. Yeah, they cut
yeah.
him too. They let him go.
That was how they hired.
Now
Ryan.
here's something interesting. Will Brian Schottenheimer and Rob Ryan get together on Sunday nights after the game and just talk about Rex?
I think who wouldn't?
Probably. More on that later.
More on that later. Anyway, before we go into our review of where the playoffs have taken us, we haven't done it yet. Who wants to do station identification?
Me, as always.
Go!
Come on, guys.
Go!
Yeah, okay.
You're listening to Football Goulash.
Si, senor.
Okay, so let's break down the wild card games. The Colts versus Ravens was probably the game that I don't think anybody really cared
It
about.
was the weak
boring.
one of the
It was
playoffs.
boring.
It was boring.
And
Nothing
despite
of significance happened.
And despite what people may think, it was a lot worse than Cincinnati-Houston.
Well, Cincinnati using him actually really didn't.
That one
I
was a
completely
boring
forgot about
game.
that
You
one.
know what? It was
Yeah.
close though. It was a 1-possession game the entire
It was
way.
close, but it wasn't.
I
It
didn't
didn't have the oomph
I
necessary
thought-
to really
Well, the
capture
thing is
my
that
imagination.
the Cincinnati defense kept the Houston offense in check, but the
Yes.
Cincinnati offense just didn't do anything.
They didn't. Yeah. They
I'm
fell
sorry,
flat
but-
after an entire season of being excited.
But the Red Rocket just flared out.
Vikings Packers, I think it went exactly where he expected it to.
Yeah,
everybody
very
saw that
expected.
coming.
Just because
except
of what
Vikings
happened the
fans.
week before.
It was still
Oh, yeah.
exciting.
It was very
It
exciting.
was a very good game. Very well played by both teams, believe it or not.
Mhm.
You know,
I could've
the
aired
score
this
was
if it didn't air
the
something.
score was not indicative of the game. Let's put it that
And
way.
the Seahawks Redskins, which ended up in a heartbreaker for
Sweet deal,
Washington. I
Ha!
thought that
saw that coming.
They deserve it.
They
really?
do.
The Washington deserves it.
Yeah.
Mike Shanahan deserves it for
Actually,
putting the needs of himself, winning a playoff game.
Yeah,
They
above
just
the.
both tried to dunk and they
Yeah,
both
did you
missed.
see that?
Yes.
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
For putting the needs of himself above the needs of the team.
What
And
a
the needs of the
son a
fans
bastard.
above the needs of the team. Because
Yeah.
all the fans wanted to see RG3 out there.
Yeah.
But it was because of his knee injury that they turned the ball over deep in their own zone
So-
and then Seattle scored.
Yeah.
So then we moved on to the division series, and then we started out with, unfortunately, Peyton's downfall. I was heartbroken. What can I say?
Hey, we had a playoff with the Manning.
That is true. Although I would have loved the Manning versus Manning
for
Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Well, you
consecutive
almost
years.
did.
Yeah.
You know, you could have had Manning versus, Charlie Manning.
Or Daniel Manning.
Or Daniel Manning.
Daniel, yeah.
Well,
No
whatever.
relation.
Anyway,
Actually, no,
I was a
that's
little,
not
I was a
possible.
little
They're both
upset
Manning.
over the fact that Peyton did not get to the next round. But you know something?
You know
Based
the
on
thing,
what
it
we're
was not
seeing
Peyton.
right now with the Ravens, like you can't deny their
They
triumph.
want it. They
Yeah,
want it
they do.
bad.
Well, Denver needs a new secondary. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
How could they let Jacoby Jones just get loose like that?
As many people that say that Peyton Manning let the Denver Broncos down in overtime,
I don't think
it
so.
didn't even start with that. It should not have gone into overtime.
They
Their secondary let the
Ah.
Ravens score.
Here's a question.
That was the loser.
Here's a question. Peyton Manning is your quarterback. You have 34 seconds left in regulation. You're on your own 20.
That was the most.
Why would you take a knee?
That was the
Yeah,
most
they're questioning
effing
John Fox
stupid
about that.
effing thing I have ever effing seen in my entire effing life. Okay?
And yes, you can say that on the air.
Yes, I can.
Keep going.
Because I bleeped myself. Twice. Last night and once this morning. Zing.
That's your credit.
That's a credit.
Okay. No, I think I'm gonna keep that in. It just works. Seahawks Falcons.
No, that was sad.
That was pretty bad.
That was sad on so many different levels.
I mean, I love to see
That
the
was
Falcons
sad
get their first
hilarious.
playoff win since 1999.
Since 1999.
I love to see Tony Gonzalez get his first ever playoff win in 16 years. But
I liked seeing the
It
Seahawks
wasn't
being
pretty.
handed what they have been deserving all season.
You want to talk about what wasn't pretty? That Texans Patriots game.
yeah, that was pretty.
Really?
Yes.
pretty ugly.
Texans deserved it. Did you see how many mistakes
course.
they made in that
It was
game?
terrible.
That was the
It
Patriots
wasn't-
game to run away
It
with.
wasn't the Patriots winning, it was the Texans losing.
It really upset me because I
They
had them
gave
winning the
that
Super
game
Bowl.
away. But was it surprising? Hell no.
Packers 49ers?
Good game.
Good game, yes.
Good game for what it was worth. The 49ers ran away with it in the last quarter, but
I think Kaepernick ran away with it.
He
Literally.
yeah, that
yeah.
man runs. That man runs.
Didn't he set a record for most rushing yards in a playoff game by a quarterback?
something like that. Yeah.
And dude, I have to
He
tell you,
was-
he's got a soul patch
he-
that beats yours.
Please.
But he has tattoos.
He
they're
does
better
have
than-
to-
hey,
they're
we'll
better
talk-
than women's footwear.
Yeah.
More
That
on
was
that
an
later.
That was an exciting game. I was happy to see Rodgers get his comeuppance because I don't think they deserve to be there, quite honestly. They didn't have such a good season.
Their defense was bad,
We just know, you know,
and it was even an
it wasn't
upgrade from
bad.
last season.
It wasn't bad.
It was
they
bad.
just didn't know how to guard the read option. And that's why
They
Kaepernick
didn't-
ran all over them.
Yeah, he
But
made him look like
any
boobs.
defense that's anchored by Clay Matthews and Charles Woodson, just, you know, in and of itself isn't bad.
Kaepernick went out there saying, "Let's fight some boobs."
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And then we moved on to the championship games. The first one was the San Francisco 49ers against the Atlanta Falcons.
No contest.
Once again, the 49ers are back
Yeah.
where they were last year,
Yep.
and this time, I'm not surprised.
The last year, it was mistakes in the fourth quarter
By
that
special
messed
teams.
them up.
Yep.
By special teams.
Yep.
They didn't make those same mistakes, and
Nope.
look where they are now.
And it was
Super
a
Bowl.
much cleaner game. They were much
Oh,
more controlled,
yeah.
not nearly as aggressive.
I mean,
Yeah.
even though the Falcons practically were up on them by so much in the beginning, I just had a feeling that they were not
You know what,
going
the
to buckle.
Falcons,
They
the
were going to keep
Falcons
going.
have a habit of starting games roaring out of the gate, but they just can't finish them, especially in clutch situations
Name
like this.
one game where they ran away with the score. Name one. the
You
Falcons
can
had.
this entire season.
Exactly, and it was gonna come back to haunt them. And it
Oh
didn't.
yeah.
And who was the
They
one?
can't
Who was the
finish
guy in the
games.
49ers that started doing the dirty bird and said no?
Frank Gore.
I
Frank
think it was
Gore,
Frank
yeah,
Gore, I
that
thought
was
so.
funny.
That was really
That
funny.
was funny. I
And
enjoyed
then
it.
I will take a page out of Captain Shenanigans' book. Then we had a little Ravens versus Patriots 2, Electric Boogaloo.
The Patriots just couldn't get past the Ravens defense.
Brady cried.
The
He
defense.
did cry.
Yeah, he did cry. He
Now
was,
here's the question:
I wouldn't say he was sobbing, but he was definitely spilling tears.
How soon until his wife blames somebody?
Oh,
I'm
his wife
surprised-
already blamed somebody.
Really?
Please.
Did I miss
Oh
it?
yeah.
I'm sorry. As soon as the championship games were over, I was watching college basketball.
Before we give our predictions and our wants and needs for the big game that has now officially been trademarked the Harbowl.
Actually, no.
No,
There was
no,
a guy
Super Bowl.
back in February who
Depending on your philosophical
who
outlook on it.
trademarked the term Harbowl and Harbaugh Bowl. The NFL bought him out.
That's
The guy
sad.
did this
That's sad,
in
hilarious.
February of last
Yeah.
year in its anticipation
preparation
that
for-
this was
yeah.
going to happen after both the brothers lost in the championship games last year.
Well, anyway, before you
That
cut me
is
off,
sad,
before you cut
hilarious.
me off, where was I going with this? We actually have a very special lessons learned,
Yes.
complete to my surprise. So,
Yeah.
Playoff special.
Yeah.
as I always say,
Super happy fun time.
so as I always
Lessons
say,
learned.
fasten your seatbelts because the captain's turned on the sign and the no smoking sign because it is time for lessons learned.
Word.
Captain Shenanigans.
Super
Go.
happy fun time playoff edition.
Go.
Alright, folks. Of course, this is one of your three favorite commentators on the show, Captain Shenanigans. First lesson learned. Overheard in New York. Darrell Revis is being shopped around by the New York Jets. Says the news is surprising, but he had fun haggling over the prices for the past 2 years. Meanwhile, the Ravens plan to release Ray Lewis the day before the Super Bowl. Says he's become a distraction.
He causes lights
Wow.
in stadiums to blow.
Okay. Anyways, lesson number 2. David Akers is attempting to trademark the term Akersing, missing a winning field goal in the Super Bowl. Says he's consulted with Scott Norwood on this.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Good times, good times.
Wow. I wouldn't
Alright.
be surprised if you find a knife in your back from that guy.
Alright.
Is he alive?
now,
Oh, he
as,
killed himself after that.
now, as of late, the media has been all over brothers playing the Super Bowl. Me, on the other hand, I'm not even concentrating on that. No, not the Harbaughs. Rather, I'm talking about the twins Rex and Rob Ryan. Says Rex,
Are they twins?
yeah, they're twins. Says Rex, yeah, me and that fat Stain of a twin brother of mine, Rob, are going to hang out this weekend. We'll probably shoot some pool, hit up Hooters, and fire up the old Nintendo and play some Tecmo Bowl. Lesson number 4. Bill Belichick. Get it? Yeah, okay. Shouldn't the guy who has developed such a long track record of postseason failure know how to act after a loss? Maybe he'll behave a little better after next year's inevitable playoff exit. Lesson number 5. Tom Brady is reportedly fined $10,000 for his impression of Kong Kong Phooey near the end of the first half of last week's AFC Championship game. Quote, Giselle told me to start wearing my Uggs on the field. I would have been fined less for those. Meanwhile, Frank Gore is bitch slapped and fined $10,500 for a sock violation.
I still
You actually posted that on Facebook.
Yes, that
you
was,
did.
yeah. And, of course, the final lesson this week. After the Ravens win last week in the AFC Championship, Joe Flacco says, Eli Manning's titles inspired all of us QBs. Alex Smith nodded his approval of the statement while sitting on his couch in his underwear.
Speaking of Alex Smith,
Ooh.
Speaking of Alex Smith, he's been quoted saying that it's bittersweet being in the Super Bowl and not starting. I wonder what that's gonna mean. That might cause some internal. He says, at least to the media, that it's all about the team and that as a team game, I'm just happy to be a part of the team. What's gonna really happen in that locker room with Alex Smith?
So, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for that lessons learned, and hope you enjoyed them.
So, the Super Bowl, the Ravens versus the 49ers, John Harbaugh against his younger brother, Jim Harbaugh.
55-3 in the first quarter.
Shut it off!
Yeah, their parents did not just have, like, a good, series naming their kids. JH and JH. And their father is also
JH, Jack, right?
Dumbasses. Yes.
It's like the Bucks.
Jack and
First you
Jim
had
and
Jack
John.
Buck, then you have Joe Buck, and now John Buck.
John Buck, yeah.
So here's an interesting thing. They are not gonna call each other between.
They'll text each
They
other.
text.
Yeah,
No,
they're
they're
gonna
gonna
text
text each other
once.
last week.
Yeah, last week.
This upcoming week,
Yeah.
no communication at all.
They're not talking.
What
By
is
the
it,
way,
a Jewish wedding?
the parents of John and Jim are still not deciding whether they're gonna attend the game.
They're gonna wear purple and red.
No. They're not sure whether they're going to attend the
Yeah.
game or not. They're either going to go and watch in neutral colors, or they're going to stay home at the family's home in Wisconsin.
That's dumb. They should go to the Super Bowl. How
The
do
only-
you pass up going to the Super Bowl?
All I'm saying is that this game is going to be far from, dare I say it, horrible. But as far as I'm concerned, I just want to bring out one question to you both.
Okay?
Who gets the victory?
San Francisco. No doubt in my mind.
San
Now-
Francisco wins.
Now, if I have no
gonna
stake
be close.
in either team, I don't think so.
Yeah, oh, really?
If I have no stake in either team, I usually root for the AFC.
No kidding.
And I kind of want Ray Lewis to go out on a high note because for all the wrong that he's done, he's still arguably the best defensive player of our generation.
He stabbed a dude!
Still a great player. But Baltimore cannot contain the read option that the 49ers had, and I think that the secondary doesn't have enough manpower. Even with Ed Reed out there, doesn't have enough manpower to cover all the potential receiving weapons that the 49ers have.
The 49ers offense is going to give the Ravens defense conniptions.
I don't think it's going to be that close, and I also think that the San Francisco defense is going to get to Flacco. He's got to turn into Flat Cannon again because he's going to be behind. And
He's going to get nervous.
Yeah, they're going to rely on their defense, and the defense is just not going to be. The defense alone is not going to be enough.
No.
Okay.
That's the problem. You have two, I wouldn't say, there are two quarterbacks who are rookies in playing the Super Bowl. Because you have Joe Flacco and Colin Kaepernick, who have never played in the big game. So that also affects the outcome.
Actually, I can only think of two people on the Ravens who have played in the big game.
Ray Lewis.
And on the 49ers, let's see, who there has been as nobody.
Moss.
Mario
Randy
Manningham.
Moss.
Randy Moss has been in the Super Bowl.
He's not. I'm considering him a non-factor on that team.
Yeah.
He's been there.
Randy Moss,
Yeah.
Mario Manningham.
Oh, that's right, Manningham.
Yeah, Manningham.
I forgot he was on that team.
Yeah, exactly.
Again,
He doesn't
you know what?
dodge it.
These are two guys who might actually show up for this game because you got Manningham,
They
you
have
got
good
Moss,
experience.
you got Vernon Davis, who's I think having a breakout playoff year.
Oh, yeah.
You got Michael
Playoff
Crabtree.
He's been doing
You got
well.
Ted Ginn,
Sans a sexual assault.
I mean,
Not for Ted Ginn. I mean,
you got and then you got Frank Gore, and you got that guy Walker, Herbert Walker.
Herschel.
Herschel Walker. No, not. This isn't the USFL,
Dude.
and I'm not Donald Trump.
Or Dallas or Minnesota.
Anyway.
Those were sad days.
Anyway.
That was sad, yeah.
What's your prediction, Mr. Gnome?
Yeah, what do you say?
I don't care.
What?
Yeah, you don't.
I don't care.
Yeah, you're the type of
think-
jerk that watches for the coaches.
I think that both teams are very deserving.
He watches for the commercials.
Oh, God, I hate people like that. Oh, I guess, hey. Whoops.
I personally do not care because I have nothing but praise for both of these teams. These two teams, I was feeling so much for them last year because of what they had to go through in their own games, and to be in the exact same position and finally get to the game where they want to be.
Somebody's going to have to lose.
Both coaches are deserving. Both have players that are more than deserving. I really do not care who wins, but if you really want me to pick a team,
No, not really. I don't
No,
care.
you don't
No.
have to pick a team.
I don't care then. I really do not care. If
All right,
San Francisco...
What if I held you up with a gun and a knife?
Okay, Baltimore.
Wow. Yeah, I know.
Considering the fact that we tied at the end of the year, we lost.
Yeah.
What does it say about his pick?
Just because of the fact that
Record
it's just,
say.
I don't know, Ray Lewis. He does amazing things.
Yeah,
So-
he stabbed a dude.
Yeah, he'll stab a
Double
49er.
ball.
Double.
Anyway, that wraps it up. So we've
That's
got...
it?
Yeah,
That's it.
we've
Holy
got one
crap.
more show coming, and that's going to be at the end after the big game.
That's gonna- that's gonna be
And
a
by
long-
that, I do not mean the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
Oh, the
gonna
Pro
be
Bowl is tomorrow.
That's going to be a longer show.
Yeah.
Because not
That's
only
our
are we
end
going to
of the
have our
season
year
wrap-up.
review,
Yeah.
we're going to have a early preview of next season before
Oh,
the preseason
sweet.
starts.
And of course, all of our segments.
Yes.
Yes.
With culminating
A return
with the
of this
year.
segment.
I'm
with
gonna
the
have
years.
a top 3 of each.
I've
Ah,
got
cool.
a
idea.
hero and bust for the year. I'm ready to go.
Oh, don't worry.
Okay.
I will be
So-
coming back with some hilarious lessons learned.
Yeah, because this week's were not so great.
Had your penial pants.
So for the Lawn Gnome and Captain Shenanigans, I am not the Lawn Gnome. I am Mr. Beagle.
Check out his channel, by the way, everybody. If you haven't seen it, go to Mermal Madness on YouTube. It's a fantastic show.
Just
Madness!
Just think of college basketball, March Madness, but I'm Mermal Madness. Anyway,
Yeah.
I am the notorious Mr. Beagle saying, now stand back and watch this drive.
Final
Boom, boom,
talk.
boom. Everybody say Teo, Teo.
Hey, that's not fair.
Bad.